Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Friday, the 2nd of May. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some volume today and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. Okay, we've got nice little move up and retesting the high overnight. I'm optimistic that we're going to break the, I was saying in the post yesterday that there were some reasons to think that we might see a fail here, but I'm still looking for that SPX trendline target that I wrote in a couple of weeks ago, and I still think there's a good chance of making that. We will see, but we are likely close to the end of this rally. So we're coming back up, retesting the rally high at the moment, and if we can go a little higher, then that's going to get Dow over the resistance trend line, which we're hitting on both Dow on Inda and on YM. You can see this is the second test here. On NQ, hitting the resistance trend line really on the QQQ chart, but likely to go a little higher, I think. YM at new rally highs. Again, looking for a bit higher really, but probably a high within the next 3 trading days. So we will see how that goes. What I would like to do is see a decent little push at the end, which can give us some nice sell signals. We've been getting those really at highs lately. Don't always get them though, and it's possible we won't get them here. On DAX and ESDX, going a bit higher. If we go significantly higher, then I am wondering whether DAX is going to do a full retest of the all-time high. ESDX, however, is well short of that. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Okay, SPX ADP, I posted this chart yesterday. This is a very good little chart. There's a very good reason I watch it twice a week. Now, it doesn't need to stop exactly at the 30 level. You can see it's gone over it a few times. We've gone under it a few times, but it tends to be a pretty good guide of when you should be looking for a high and when you should be looking for a low. And right here, we should be looking for a high. Looking at the daily chart on ES, we're getting fairly close to the 50 DMA here is at 56.37, and we're basically testing it right now. I am wondering possibly about a test of the 200 DMA, but really it looks a bit too far away at 58.65. We will see how that goes. But looking at the SPX chart, again, pretty much the same, gapped over the 50 DMA yesterday, so that's no longer resistance. On the 15-minute chart, no current negative divergence. We hit the short-term wedge resistance trend line, but we just need to go a little higher up into this trend line. You can see these two trend lines are converging. I think it's a pretty good chance that it's going to hit it within the next 2 or 3 days, and this is the ideal flag resistance target. You can see we are at the 61.8% fib though. All right, looking at Qs. Qs again gapped over the 50, pretty close to the 200. Here, I haven't drawn it in on the chart yesterday because I didn't want to move the trend line I've initially drawn. But if you can see, I've actually changed this slightly, and you can see we have hit it. So looking for a bit of an overthrow here. We will see how it goes. Again, it's hitting the 61.8 at the moment. Dire, nice little move up here. Beautiful backtest of the daily middle band here, actually. So again, looking a little higher, but needs to get over this declining resistance here, which could potentially hold as resistance. So I'd be happier to see that past it, and there's a good chance that we're going to see that at the open. Got this resistance up here at about the 413.5 area at the moment, and that is the obvious next target. All right, let's have a look at IWM. IWM daily chart. Nice move over and backtest over declining resistance. Really, I'm looking at the 50 DMA here on the IWM chart at 199, and here we do have 2 resistance trend lines here because I drew in the second one as an option, and we've now hit that 3-4 times, and it's holding. This could hold. I'm skeptical about it getting all the way up into this trend line here in the 202 area, so we will see. But a bit of an overthrow would be fine, and we'd be welcome to see. All right, DAX, nice move up here. We're really over all the resistance here. The 50 DMA, 22 was taken out and back tested. So I am wondering about a possible retest of the high, but not really necessary to see that. Looking at Nikkei, testing the 50 DMA here, not expecting it to go over the 200. All right, let's have a look at DX. Okay, DX, we had a little sell signal that's been playing out. We've just been a modest retracement and a back test of the IHS neckline so far. I'm still liking this target, and I've got that up in the 101.7 area. We've still got a nice looking head and shoulders broken down on Euro, GBP USD. We've got a double top, which hasn't broken down yet. USD JPY, we've got an IHS, which has broken up. USD CAD, we've got a little double bottom, which could break up, but hasn't yet. Australian dollar, we've got a nice looking little level top here, although we are retesting this high, and we could, if we go much higher, then obviously that could weaken this setup. All right, looking at ZB. ZB, we are heading down at the moment, and this is what I was expecting. In terms of, do we have a pattern here? Yeah, we do. We got a head and shoulders here, and it's here. So hang on, wait a second. I'll just draw in the arrows here because I can give you a target. But we may well have seen this already turn, and obviously that is making me slightly wary because, of course, this is something which has been going on with this rally in bonds has been going on really as part of and with the rally in equities. So it's making me a little nervous. This has already turned, and actually gold is making me nervous too, but I'll get to that in a minute. So if we look at the target here, yeah, I've got that target down here in about the 113.22 area, and that is a nice looking little setup. Let's have a look at that on the US dollar chart. Sorry, on the TNX chart. And here we had a little buy signal that's fixed but not yet made target on the RSI 14. But you can see on the flag which I posted in here, we've now broken over the resistance. I am liking the upside here. We shall see. All right, CL. We broke down, made the target. We invalidated the head and shoulders, and we may be on the way back directly to the retest of this low here. But I would note that the retest of the low on WTIC is at 56. Haven't quite reached that yet, but we're pretty close. We will see. I'm liking the downside here. Trump's been talking about wanting the CL price at 50. I think he might soon get that. NG, we are testing declining resistance at the moment. Nice little rally here. Could just be a bear flag. Watching this test of resistance carefully. Obviously, that's a pretty good match with the monthly pivot at 3.553 as well. GC, I had a lovely channel here, and it looked really nice, but we've now formed this possible falling wedge resistance trend line, and we've gone back to the resistance, and this is looking like a pretty nice looking falling wedge, and it hasn't broken up yet, but if it doesn't, this could be starting the way back to a retest of the highs. Looking at SI, SI broke down from a very poor quality head and shoulders, which I'm not really seeing as a head and shoulders, and that's just as well, because if it is a head and shoulders, I think it just failed. This may well be returning back up into the high, and I've got a bigger picture target at 38 I'm really liking. On palladium, we are continuing higher at the moment. Week 60-minute sell signal is fixed, but not delivered anything so far. On platinum, we've been holding the monthly pivot as support. Again, may go higher. HG, this looks like a little bear flag forming. Really, I'm expecting this to go lower. And this could be also a head and shoulders, right shoulder forming with a neckline here. Hang on 1 second. We'll see how that goes. But it's not a bad little setup. And I'm thinking it may well deliver. Certainly with the US economy in contraction now and likely to contract more in the next quarter, this is not a great time to be in copper. Okay, let's have a look at KC. We had a little sell signal there, which has made target. We could be forming a head and shoulders here, and I've drawn in the little neckline here, and we reached the ideal possible right shoulder high already. I'm thinking this might break down. That would have a target in about 345 area, I think. SB is continuing down. Obviously, we've got a fairly apocalyptic head and shoulders on the bigger picture. We've got a little bit of positive divergence here, but I'm very wary about sugar on the long side. We could be the head and shoulder target would be an awful lot lower. Looking at CC, we got a nice looking little double bottom, well, sizable double bottom, which is broken up with a target and about the 11,300 area. We're either going to head up towards there, or we're going to go back and retest the low. Keeping an open mind on which one it is, not a bad setup either way. CW. CW, we're seeing a bit of a rally here. We had a buy signal that's made target. Could this be an IHS? Yes. Target would be in about the 563 area, I think. I think this could be a part-formed head and shoulders or double bottom. On the bigger picture, though, I am wondering about a move down into about the 505 area, I think. On corn, doesn't look much like a bull flag anymore, and I don't have a clear pattern on this at the moment. We've got a weak 60-minute buy signal fixed, and that's still playing out, I think. But we have reached the possible near miss target. Sorry, I haven't marked that in. On soy, we could be forming a head and shoulders here. If so, we may be about to break down. I'm surprised this has held up as well as it has for so long. I'm leaning towards the downside fairly strongly. This head and shoulders would have a target in about the 1,000 area. On CT, possible IHS forming here. 60-minute buy signals almost reached the full target now. Keeping an open mind. Lumber could be a double bottom, but more likely it's a double top, heading down to a target that's been drifting down to, I think that's in about 565 area. On live cattle, seen a bit of a consolidation here. Looks bullish, no obvious reversal pattern, leaning towards this continuing higher. Lean hogs, we have broken down from a little level top with targets just below the monthly pivot at 96.08, and still leaning towards that, heading towards that target. We shall see. All right, let's have a look at questions. Hang on, wait a second. Yeah, my pleasure as always, mate. So anyway, I think that's a wrap. I'm still leaning towards this going higher. I've got a couple of concerns that it might break down early, but I'm thinking in terms of a breakdown really in the first 3 days of next week. We shall see how it goes. There'll be at least one post out before that, and I'll have a couple of posts out today, but they'll be on crypto and the bigger picture on Treasury's post, talking about why we might see a bonds crisis next year. This year. All right, everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys again on Monday. I'll be sending out a link for everyone for the pre-market videos over the weekend.